Have you ever found yourself sort of caught in that weird trap where life just feels like it's on repeat?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going through the motions day in, day out, doing all the same things, but nothing really changes deep down.
Yeah, that feeling of being stuck.
Exactly. You really want things to get better, but it just feels like you're treading water. Or, honestly, maybe even sinking a bit.
Right.
Maybe you find yourself like always complaining you've got no time, but somehow hours just vanish scrolling on your phone.
Oh, that's a classic one.
Or, maybe there's a really bad situation you want out of. But just the effort of discipline, like getting up early, sticking to a plan,
Yeah.
it feels huge.
Yeah, overwhelming.
So you just fall back into the late nights, the late mornings. It's that really deep frustration, isn't it? Knowing you could be doing something different, but just finding yourself, well, stuck.
Completely. It's a very common human experience, actually.
Well, if any of that sounds familiar, you are definitely in the right place for this deep dive. Our mission today really is to unpack some powerful and surprisingly practical insights. We're drawing from a source that, well, didn't pull any punches.
Which one is that?
It's a YouTube video called 9 Ways to Escape a Shitty Life from the channel.
Poo.com Kodiata.
Ah, yes. Awaken Your Giant Within. A bold title.
It really is. And look, before anyone gets put off by the bluntness, let's be clear. The shitty life the source talks about, it isn't always about, big obvious failures.
Not necessarily hitting rock bottom in the dramatic sense.
Right. It's more about that sneaky feeling of being stuck, unfulfilled, kind of running on autopilot, where your potential just isn't being tapped and your days feel flat.
That quiet internal dissatisfaction, that's often what it is.
Exactly. And this deep dive, it's not about some, miracle overnight fix that promises instant happiness.
No instant cures here.
Instead, we're going to explore how to actually recognize those subtle but really, really damaging patterns that keep us sort of chained to these unfulfilling routines.
And more importantly, we'll look at the practical, actionable ways to break free. Because the core idea from Awaken Your Giant Within seems to be this real, lasting change. It hardly ever comes from one big, heroic push.
Right. It's usually quieter than that.
It emerges from these consistent, subtle shifts. Shifts in your mindset and shifts in what you actually do every day. It's about understanding that the giant inside, well, it's not awakened by shouting at it.
It's more like a series of small, deliberate choices. Nudges, almost.
Precisely. So we're here to kind of guide you on this journey. It's about self-discovery, empowerment, and we're approaching it with, empathy, curiosity, and lots of encouragement.
That's a great way to frame it. And it's so important to grasp, like the source really stresses, that when we talk about being stuck in this kind of life, it's not primarily about your external situation.
Okay, that's interesting. So it's not just bad luck or things happening to you.
Well, external pressures and challenges, they definitely play a part, of course. We all face them. But this deep dive, it really zooms in on the internal stuff, the patterns deep inside us that we might not even be aware of.
The ingrained habits?
Exactly. The video basically argues that if you genuinely want to escape that feeling of being stuck, of life being, well, shitty, you first have to bravely look at and really understand the underlying destructive patterns that have been quietly hurting you, maybe for years.
So it's about looking inward first. Recognizing those unconscious scripts running the show.
Precisely. Rather than just blaming everything outside, that's where the real awakening starts, according to the source.
Okay, what a place to begin. And the very first pattern the source tackles. Wow, it's one that traps so many people. It's that endless loop of borrowing money, constantly borrowing, without ever really building up any kind of savings habit.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very common scenario, isn't it? The source points this out really clearly. Many people, even folks with what seems like a decent income, they're just perpetually caught in this cycle.
So they might not be starving, but...
But they have zero buffer, absolutely no savings. And the really sneaky part, when an emergency hits, and they always do, right?
Yeah.
A car repair, a medical thing.
Yep, life happens.
They just default back to borrowing. Even though deep down they kind of know this just makes the problem worse in the long run.
It sounds like a kind of learned helplessness, almost with money.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. It's like they feel powerless to change that financial pattern.
So the source is saying this isn't just about needing more money then. It's deeper.
Much deeper. It argues it's fundamentally about a lack of discipline, and maybe even a basic misunderstanding of what money is really for.
What do you mean?
Well, It suggests that if you constantly lack financial discipline, it often points to wider issues, like maybe a lack of self-control in general, or impatience, or maybe just lacking the sheer courage to actually look at your spending habits, honestly.
Oof, that's confronting, facing where the money actually goes.
Exactly, and why it always seems to disappear.
And the root of that,
According to the video, it boils down to a lack of, well, radical self-honesty. People get caught in this cycle, often start with that little thought, oh, it's fine, I'll pay it back.
right, the intention feels good at the moment.
But here's the kicker. There's rarely a solid, realistic plan for how. That initial little self-deception, even if it's just a whisper, it sets you up for this bigger emotional trap. Your brain just wants the immediate relief of borrowing.
So it rationalizes it, pushes the future pain away.
Precisely. Classic short-term gratification winning out over long-term planning.
And that's where it gets, well, painful.
Mm.
Because starting with debt, it just floods your system, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Stress, fear, guilt, shame.
All those heavy emotions. And the irony is those intense negative feelings, they don't actually motivate you to fix the root problem.
No, they make you want to hide from it.
Exactly. Avoidance kicks in. It becomes this self-feeding loop. The source points out, really wisely, I think, that many people end up using money for, like, temporary emotional fixes instead of building a life.
You give an example?
Sure. Spending on entertainment just to numb anxiety for a bit, buying stuff to feel valuable or important, even if it's fleeting, or, curating this perfect image on social media so it looks like you're doing fine, even when you're drowning in debt.
Wow. Okay, so those quick fixes become the trap.
Absolutely. You overspend trying to feel better, then reality hits, maybe an emergency comes up, and boom, no reserves. So who do you turn to?
Someone else. Again.
Right. And here's the really damaging psychological bit. When you borrow and someone helps you out, which is often what happens initially, your brain gets this subtle but really powerful message reinforced. See? It's okay. I can just borrow again if I need to.
Oh, that's dangerous. It normalizes it.
It completely erodes genuine financial discipline. It chips away at personal responsibility over time. It makes the destructive habit feel normal. Acceptable, even.
And the consequences, they must go way beyond just having no money in the bank.
Oh, far beyond. It hammers your self-confidence. It strains your relationships, especially with those you borrow from. It even affects how you see yourself and how you think others see you.
How so?
Well, frequent borrowers often start to feel really incapable. They develop this fear of rejection, dreading the moment they might have to ask again. They might even start avoiding the very people who helped them before out of shame or awkwardness.
So they become kind of an emotional burden, maybe without even realizing it.
Often, yeah. And the cycle just gets worse. More borrowing leads to feeling more worthless, more insecure, which then just drains the energy you need to actually make a change. It's a real downward spiral for self-efficacy.
Okay, so if earning more isn't the first step, what is? How do you break free?
It starts, according to the source, with that radical self-honesty we mentioned. You have to bravely, unflinchingly accept where you are right now financially. And accept your actual spending habits. No sugarcoating.
Sounds hard.
It is hard. It means being courageous enough to cut unnecessary expenses, even if it feels really uncomfortable, or if it means giving up things that give you that temporary comfort or social status.
Right.
Financial discipline, at its core, isn't about how much money you have. It's about mastering the management of whatever you do have right now, building that internal control.
Okay, so practically speaking, what are the first baby steps?
The source emphasizes starting really, really small, almost ridiculously small sometimes, like meticulously tracking every single penny coming in and going out.
Just writing it all down.
Yep. Or maybe dedicating yourself to paying off just one tiny debt first, just to build that feeling of momentum, that win.
Okay, the snowball effect.
Exactly. Or ruthlessly cutting out those little luxuries that don't actually add real value to your life.
What?
Maybe even seeking out and genuinely learning from people who've actually dug themselves out of similar situations.
Learning from others' successes.
And then, crucially, starting a savings habit. Even if it's an amount that feels laughable at first, like the equivalent of $1 a day or whatever, the key isn't the amount.
It's the consistency.
It's the unwavering consistency. That's what rewires the brain.
And there's a mindset shift needed too, isn't there?
Huge. A deep gut-level understanding that nobody, absolutely nobody, can rescue you forever. You have to realize that every single dollar, every single unit of currency you hold, It represents a choice.
A choice between what?
A choice to either keep eroding your future or to start consciously building a new, solid foundation for yourself. The people who genuinely turn things around, they're often not the luckiest or the richest to begin with.
Who are they then?
They're usually the ones who just got completely fed up with being a burden, fed up with feeling trapped, and they made a conscious decision. I refuse to live like this anymore.
So they just decided.
And then they quietly, diligently started building new habits. Small, controllable systems, day after day. That's how real stability grows. Quietly, but powerfully.
So the message is, you don't have to stay stuck in that shitty life.
Absolutely not. The source is really urging you, the listener, right now, to question your behavior, to stop that little voice that says, it's okay, when you know it's not, and to start changing, even if it feels really, really hard at first.
Because facing the difficulty now is better
than living a life built on excuses and borrowed time, borrowed money, a borrowed life. A new, better life doesn't need a lottery win to start. It needs the courage to stop the destructive stuff and start building self-reliance. One small, consistent step after another. That's awakening your giant.
Wow. Okay. That's powerful. And it leads really well into the next habit, which is also about internal resistance. It's that paralyzing phrase, I can't.
Ah, yes, the automatic shutdown. So many people default to this, don't they? Faced with something new, a challenge, even a genuine opportunity, the instant response is, I can't.
Even before they've tried.
Often before they've even properly looked into it, let alone taken the first step, I can't, just comes out.
And the root cause of that, what's really driving it?
It's almost always fear. Deep embedded fear. Often unconscious.
Fear of what's...
Fear of failing. Definitely. Fear of looking stupid or being laughed at. Fear of not being good enough. Or maybe the deepest one. The fear of confirming your own secret belief that you're worthless.
So saying, I can't feels safer.
Exactly. It's a shield. It lets you avoid the risk, the potential pain, the disappointment. It feels like self-preservation.
But it's a trap.
A really damaging trap. Because every single time you say, I can't, you're basically training your brain, you're conditioning yourself to believe you are incapable, that you are afraid of new things.
Without even testing it in reality.
Right. You reinforce the fear without any actual evidence, and slowly, sneakily, your self-confidence just drains away. You stop talking about your dreams, maybe even stop having them because you've convinced yourself they're impossible, even though your actual abilities are just sitting there, unused, behind that wall you built.
It fosters that fixed mindset, doesn't it? I am what I am, and I can't change.
Precisely. Instead of a growth mindset, which believes abilities can be developed.
And the really heartbreaking part must be seeing others succeed where you didn't even try.
Oh, absolutely. Over time, you inevitably see opportunities you passed up because you said, I can't. And you see other people seize them, people who started from the same place, maybe even more scared than you were, but they chose to try. They chose to learn.
And I can't becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Literally. It shapes your reality. Think about it in your own life, listener. What significant things might you have missed? That dream job you didn't apply for, that side hustle idea you dismissed, that relationship you backed away from, all because of that belief you weren't capable, not because you actually lacked the ability.
Ouch. That hits home. But the good news.
The really good news, according to the source, is if you recognize this pattern, if you see how I can't has been stealing your dreams, you absolutely can change it. It's not a permanent condition.
So how do you start? What are the small steps here?
Again, start small. Deliberately choose things you've been avoiding because of that I can't feeling. Like, if you're terrified of public speaking, don't aim for a massive presentation right away.
Okay.
Practice in the mirror. Record yourself talking. Maybe just commit to making one comment in your next meeting. Tiny steps.
What about other fears, like exercise?
If you fear exercise, maybe because you feel self-conscious, start in your bedroom. 5 minutes, nobody watching. If you fear creating something, putting your ideas out there, just create for yourself first. Record that video, write that blog post, but don't hit publish yet. Just do the act of creating.
The point is to just start doing the thing you fear in a low-stakes way.
Exactly. Don't let I can't be the chains that bind you forever. Fear doesn't magically vanish if you avoid it. In fact, avoidance usually makes it bigger.
So facing it makes it smaller.
It gradually fades when you bravely face it, even in tiny ways. Look, you will stumble, you will make mistakes, it will feel awkward sometimes, but that's real learning. That's genuine growth.
Nobody gets good without being bad first.
Nobody. No one becomes skilled without feeling fear, and nobody achieves anything meaningful without failing along the way. It's part of the process.
So the gap between where you are and where you want to be.
Is often just that first scary step. Give yourself another chance. Dare to try the thing you fear, just a little bit more today than yesterday.
And change the language.
Yes. Every time your brain screams, I can't, consciously, deliberately replace it with, let me try first. That simple phrase, it's a turning point. It unlocks paths you couldn't see before.
Don't let the self-talk build a wall.
Exactly. Your ability isn't judged by talent alone. It's judged by the courage to try, to push your boundaries, to discover what you're really capable of. When you dare to try, the world opens up. Life can always change when you stop saying, I can't, and just commit to acting, even once.
Okay, moving from internal barriers to external distractions.
Okay.
Let's talk about habit 3, the social media void.
The endless scroll, a very modern challenge.
Right, spending hours every day on social media, often without even thinking about it, just scrolling. Short clips, posts, comments.
It feels like rest, doesn't it? A temporary escape.
It does. Your heart feels kind of at rest, like you've switched off from reality for a bit, but then you put the phone down.
And nothing has actually improved. You don't feel genuinely fulfilled. You haven't learned anything useful.
Time gone, poof.
The source calls this hollow rest. And it's such a perfect description. Social media feels like rest because it's constant, easy stimulation, like mental candy.
Requires no real effort.
Exactly. No deep thought, no problem solving, no responsibility. It triggers little dopamine hits, making it feel pleasant, addictive even. But it's hollow. It's a deceptive break that can eat up half your day without giving you anything back in terms of skills or progress towards your goals.
It's escapism disguised as relaxation.
Perfectly put.
So how can you tell if you're using it to escape rather than for genuine connection or learning? What are the signs?
They're usually pretty clear if you're honest. Are you scrolling so mindlessly you can't even remember the names of the accounts you just looked at?
Guilty.
Sometimes. Do you feel really lonely or empty or just unable to be alone without your phone? Using it specifically to run away from feeling insecure or bored with your actual life.
Okay.
The more you do that, the deeper the insecurity gets, paradoxically. Because a part of you knows you're not using your most precious resource, your time, in a way that actually builds you up.
And that brings us to the cost, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The hidden cost of all that time.
It's profound. Have you ever, really sat down and compared the hours spent passively scrolling versus the time actively spent on self-development, reading, learning a skill, working on a project?
It can be a pretty stark comparison, yeah. Often uncomfortable to look at.
But just imagine this.
Wait.
What if you took, just say, 2 hours of that scrolling time each day and consciously redirected it towards building the future you actually want?
What could happen?
What could change in just 3 months?
Yeah.
Even just 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes listening to a genuinely insightful podcast, reading a challenging article, practicing a skill. Over a year. That could completely transform your life. It's the power of compounding.
So how do we become more mindful consumers? What's the path?
It starts with intention. Before you even open an app, just pause. Ask yourself, okay, what am I actually looking for here? Real rest, knowledge, connection. How long will I spend? When will I stop?
Setting boundaries beforehand.
Exactly. That clarity helps you break the trance of aimless scrolling. And be ruthless about curating your feed. Practice skipping, or better yet, unfollowing content that consistently drains you or makes you feel bad.
Make it a positive space.
A space that serves you, not just captures your attention. You don't need to quit entirely. There's good stuff out there. But you have to learn to choose wisely. Distinguish the valuable stuff from the thought trash, as the source calls it.
Thought trash, I like that. What about practical limits?
Set time limits.
Yeah.
Use app blockers if you need to. Maybe 30 minutes, twice a day, whatever works. And crucially, after you use social media, always ask, what did I gain? Do I feel genuinely better? If the answer is consistently no.
That's your signal to change your habits.
Absolutely. It's undeniable feedback.
And the long-term risks of just mindless scrolling.
You become a passive consumer, not an active creator, a follower, not a doer. You might have superficial knowledge about everything that's trending, but your own life stalls.
And you see others moving forward.
Which leads to that toxic comparison, envy, feeling worse about yourself, which, tragically, often pushes you right back to seeking more light, escapist content. It's a vicious cycle.
So how to break that cycle? Small steps again.
Always small steps. Instead of grabbing your phone first thing, start with a journal. Read one page of a good book. Swap the scrolling during your commute for an inspiring podcast.
Curate that feed relentlessly.
Only positive growth-focused stuff. And constantly ask yourself, is this use of my time valuable for my future? Because time, that's the one thing you truly can't get back. Can't borrow it, can't buy more.
Social media is a tool, not life itself.
Master it, don't let it master you. Seriously, just changing how you scroll can change your entire life trajectory. It's that powerful.
Okay, building on that idea of escaping reality, let's tackle the fourth habit, escaping through addiction and gambling.
Right. The source draws a direct link here. People without clear life goals are much more susceptible to these kinds of escapes.
Why is that?
It comes down to a fundamental human need. The heart needs to be filled with something, purpose, meaning, direction. When there's no clear vision for the future, no path, no real reason to get up in the morning, an emptiness grows.
The void.
Exactly. And that void becomes this fertile ground for wanting to escape, escaping boredom, escaping feelings of worthlessness, escaping that nagging question, what's the point?
So people reach for quick fixes.
False solutions, trying to numb the emptiness with intoxication, alcohol, drugs, or chasing the false promise of quick riches and excitement through gambling.
Gambling offers that instant rush, doesn't it?
It does. Immediate excitement, the illusion of sudden wealth. It can feel much more alive than the dull reality of a life without purpose. It's a powerful, temporary distraction from the deeper pain.
And without goals, what happens to your overall state?
It deteriorates. If there's no purpose, there's no real reason to take care of anything. Your health, your money, your relationships. No dreams pulling you forward. Your mind kind of detaches from responsibility, from self-pride.
So you look for value in shortcuts.
Exactly. A temporary win at gambling feels like validation. A night of forgetting feels like relief. Feeling accepted while drinking with buddies feels like connection. But these feelings are incredibly fleeting.
They fade.
They always fade. And they leave behind an even bigger, emptier void. It quietly consumes you, making the original problem even worse.
So if someone recognizes this pattern in themselves, how do they start to change? Especially if they don't have that clear future vision yet.
The source offers a really compassionate starting point. Create a small, safe space for yourself, mentally, emotionally, a place where you can just begin to imagine a different life, even if it's fuzzy.
You don't need the whole picture right away.
Not at all. You might not know your dream career or your biggest strengths yet, but you can identify what's causing you immediate pain. Like if gambling always leads to fear and loss, step one is stopping that, just to stabilize your mind.
Okay, stop the bleeding first.
Right. Then, gently, start exposing yourself to new, constructive things. Try drawing, try writing, cook something new, volunteer, anything that helps you rediscover parts of yourself. It's about exploration, not pressure.
And the crucial mindset shift.
Stop telling yourself, I have no future. That internal narrative is incredibly damaging, more damaging than any external criticism. Your past failures do not define your future potential, period.
You have to believe change is possible.
You have to. Ask yourself the hard questions. If I keep going like this for another year, how will I feel? If everyone leaves because of this, can I forgive myself?
Wow, that's tough.
But necessary. And flip it. If I choose to change, even just a tiny bit each day, won't I feel prouder next year? Isn't that quiet pride more valuable than any temporary escape?
Let's paint that picture. Person A versus person B.
Okay. Person A, no goals, bored, turns to gambling or booze for temporary relief. Life stagnates or gets worse. They blame themselves, blame the world, live without a future.
Okay. And person B?
Person B also starts with maybe nothing, maybe deep wounds, but they choose small, courageous actions. They start budgeting. They fight the urge to gamble. They watch inspiring videos for inspiration, not just distraction. They write down tiny goals.
They're moving.
They are moving forward. Slowly, maybe painfully, but they're building strength daily. They will have a new life eventually because they chose to change, not just escape.
So don't wait until you hit absolute rock bottom.
Please don't. The more you run from the emptiness using these false comforts, the bigger the void gets. Stop running. Slowly, gently, start walking back towards the person you want to be.
Even if you can't see the end of the path.
Even then, that first step is reclaiming control. A meaningful life isn't built on intoxication or lottery tickets. It's built by choosing new paths, turning your back on false comfort, and doing the hard work of building something real. Your past brokenness. It's just one scene. You get to write the next chapter.
That's incredibly helpful. And it connects so well to the next two habits, which the source links together. The trap of making excuses and the power of taking responsibility.
Yes, these are deeply intertwined. In a world full of pressure, expectations, competition, it's so easy to find reasons to protect ourselves, isn't it?
Easier than admitting the truth sometimes.
Often, yes. Easier than admitting we haven't really tried or haven't put in enough effort, or maybe we're just too scared to even start.
Why is that fear of failure so strong?
Deep down, for many, the fear of failing is actually scarier than the dull pain of not succeeding. There's the fear of judgment, of being seen as not good enough, and maybe the hardest one. Admitting the limitation might be internal, might be us.
Resisting personal accountability.
It's a powerful, often unconscious resistance.
And excuses. They can sound so reasonable, can't they?
Deceptively so. I don't have time. There are no opportunities. I'm just not good enough. They sound logical. But the source points out they often mask deeper things.
Like what?
Past hurts. Being belittled as a kid might lead to a lifelong fear of judgment. Failing badly once might make you terrified to try again. Feeling insecure makes you build these elaborate justifications for not putting yourself out there.
So the excuse protects you from feeling worthless if you fail.
Exactly. It feels like a safe space. But it's a cage.
A double-edged sword, you said.
Absolutely. Short-term, excuses offer relief. They avoid pain, avoid confronting reality. But long-term, they slowly bleed you of your life energy.
How so?
They keep you stuck. They prevent progress. They stifle the courage to start, the discipline to practice, the energy to create. You get really good at explaining why you can't, but really bad at actually living.
You understand everything but do nothing.
Precisely. And the scariest part, you can become so good at fooling yourself, you don't even realize you're making excuses anymore. You believe them. It's a sophisticated form of self-sabotage.
So how do you know if you're doing this? What are the warning signs?
The source gives some telling clues. Do you get instantly defensive or annoyed when someone suggests you try something new, something outside your comfort zone?
Yeah.
Do you feel uncomfortable, maybe even a bit resentful, seeing others succeed because it shines a light on your own inaction?
That quiet envy.
Right. And maybe the biggest one. Do you feel tired all the time, even when you haven't done much? That could be your mind locked in that exhausting battle. Wanting to change versus believing I can't. That internal conflict is draining.
Okay, so if you recognize that, how do you shift towards responsibility without just beating yourself up more?
It's not about more self-blame. Definitely not about demanding instant perfection. It's about taking small, consistent, meaningful responsibilities.
Like what?
Like committing to waking up on time every day. Like listing daily tasks and doing at least one reliably. Like admitting mistakes without making excuses, just owning it.
And changing the self-talk again.
Crucial. Replacing I'm not good at this with I'm not good yet, but I'm practicing. Or I'm committed to developing. Responsibility isn't some grand gesture. It's daily self-honesty in small things.
And the big turning point, the real shift in thinking.
It happens when you stop seeing external things as the main problem. When you truly realize that how far your life goes depends almost entirely on your decisions right now, today.
Not the past, not the future, but now.
Exactly. Stop blaming others. Stop blaming fate. Stop passing the buck. Pull all that power back into your own hands. It's incredibly empowering.
Let's revisit that person A versus person B comparison through this lens.
Okay. Person A faces a problem, says, if only I had time, money, I'd do it. Never starts. Person B faces the same problem, says, okay, I don't have much time, but I'll start with 15 minutes today. I don't have much money, but I'll start with what I have.
Person B is taking responsibility for the start.
Exactly. They might be slow, they might stumble, but they're building life energy. Person A stays stuck, armed with ever more convincing excuses.
So success isn't just about brains or talent.
According to the source, the true measure is self-honesty. The courage to admit the truth, to take responsibility, even imperfectly, without fooling yourself. If you're listening, you're ready. Admitting you've used excuses. That's the first most powerful step, starting right now with honesty.
Every small step taken with genuine responsibility, it moves you towards driving your own life.
Absolutely. You become the driver, not the passenger trapped by fear. It's about reclaiming your agency.
This leads us naturally to habit 7, which feels like the flip side of taking responsibility, the deep despair of living without hope.
Yes, this captures a really profound kind of suffering. People who are breathing, walking around, but inside. It's like all hope is gone.
How does that manifest?
Waking up with zero motivation. No purpose pulling you forward. No anticipation for the day. Not even the will to fight for anything better. Time just passes. Opportunities might be there. The body's capable. But the spirit feels extinguished.
And the real tragedy isn't just the past failures.
No, the tragedy is letting those past hurts completely steal your hope, turning you into just a shadow, existing, not living. It's often a result of that learned helplessness we touched on earlier.
And this often comes from deep beliefs, right?
Very deep beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. Nobody wants me. These can get cemented by repeated failures, harsh criticism, societal labels.
Until you genuinely believe life will never change.
All right. So you let go of dreams. You stop setting goals. You just wait for time to pass.
Right.
Passively, without direction.
What are the signs you're just surviving, not thriving?
You stop thinking about the future. No new plans excite you. That feeling of just getting through the day is enough. Waking up already feeling defeated, feeling drained even when you do nothing, believing this is just how life is for me. Those are all signals.
So how do you ignite change from that place? It sounds so deep.
It has to start from within, by questioning those beliefs, asking, will my life really be like this forever? Will I let past hurts or others' words define my entire future?
And if the answer is no, or even I don't want it to be,
that's the spark. If there's even a tiny voice inside that still wants something different, that's your starting point. You don't need a grand plan immediately. Just admitting you still want to rise. That's enough to begin.
and when you feel completely drained.
Shift the questions. Instead of, why am I so bad? Try, if I manage to rise just a little today, what might change in a week? Find a why. If not for yourself right now, maybe for loved ones. For your future self.
All right, every day you breathe is another chance.
Always pause.
Can you share that story from the source? About Tung. It illustrates this so well.
Oh, Tung's story is powerful. He was just an ordinary office worker. But when his company shut down and he got laid off, he was internally shattered, fell into a deep pit.
What does that look like?
For almost a year, the same routine. Wake up late, watch TV mindlessly, eat instant noodles, go back to sleep. He was terrified of applying for jobs, terrified of rejection, felt completely worthless, just existed like that.
Wow. A whole year. What broke the cycle?
He saw a social media post. A former colleague also laid off at the same time, celebrating a promotion at a new company, saying they dared to start something new.
How did that affect him?
He just stared at it for ages, then asked himself that piercing question. How will I feel if I'm still sitting here doing nothing a year from now?
And that was the catalyst.
It was. He cried that night, apparently. Not tears of self-pity, but tears of realizing how much time he'd wasted. And from that point, small steps.
What kind of steps?
Waking up earlier, doing his laundry, cooking real food, applying for just one job a day, reading, learning skills online, tiny things.
But consistent things.
Exactly. He said he started to feel like he was becoming a human again, even with no income yet. And after 5 months, he got a job. Small company, not glamorous, but he said with a real smile, I'm back.
That's incredible. It shows it's possible.
Absolutely. Don't let your worst moments define you forever. If you fall, rising makes you stronger, more respected. Everyone has potential hidden under pain or fear. As long as you're breathing, there's hope. One choice today can change everything.
Okay, from the fear of internal failure to the fear of external judgment. Habit 8. Paralysis by criticism.
Ah, yes. In our hyper-connected world, with social media amplifying every voice, criticism feels like it hits harder, holds more power.
To the point where people just stop.
Yes, they stop acting, stop expressing themselves, abandon dreams. All because someone somewhere said, that's not good, or you can't do that. A few words can just shut down any new beginning.
Why are we so sensitive to it? What's the deep root?
It's often not the criticism now, but echoes of the past. Childhood comparisons, rejection when we felt vulnerable, never getting enough validation. These things wire us to believe criticism equals stop, you're worthless.
Growing up hearing don't fail, people will talk.
Exactly. It ingrains shame around mistakes. So we learn to avoid criticism rather than learn from falling. The fear of negative evaluation becomes overwhelming.
And the result is?
Your life gets controlled by others' opinions. You make decisions based on people who aren't living your life. You become overly cautious, focused on avoiding judgment rather than developing skills or pursuing passions. You live to avoid criticism, not to be yourself.
And miss out on opportunities.
Huge opportunities, all because you feared voices that, honestly, never really go away anyway.
So how do you build resilience? How do you handle it?
First, learn to distinguish. Is this constructive criticism meant to help, which is rare, or is it just someone venting, someone uninformed? If someone says you're not good, ask yourself, have they seen my real effort? Do they know my journey?
Build that internal validation.
Yes. Recall your own growth. Affirm yourself from within. You don't need universal approval. Nobody gets it. Even the most successful people face constant criticism.
You mentioned those examples: Disney, Oprah, Edison.
Right. Disney lacked imagination. Oprah wasn't suitable for TV. Edison was too stupid to learn. Did they stop? No. They used it as fuel, not a rope, to hang themselves with.
So the question for the listener is,
If you're holding back because you fear criticism, how will you feel in a year? Still stuck. In 5 years? Still paralyzed by words from people not truly in your life? Is that worth it?
the truth is, people will talk anyway.
Whether you act or not, so why not act? Let the results speak. And that statistic is powerful. 90% hesitate due to fear of critics, but less than 10% of those critics even remember what they said a year later. The fear is mostly internal.
So how do you build that courage?
Believe your actions have value, see yourself as learning, not performing, have clear goals that quiet the noise, view life as a process, not a final judgment. And when you hesitate, remember why you wanted to start in the first place.
Don't let others' voices drown out your own heart.
Exactly. Let them talk after you've acted, not before you start. The only voice that truly changes your life is your own, deciding to move forward imperfectly, bravely. Acting under criticism is far better than a life of no effort.
Okay, finally, habit 9. The one that underpins everything. Neglecting self-care.
The foundation. So many people know health is crucial, but they routinely neglect it. Eating junk, chaotic sleep, ignoring stress.
We know it's bad long-term, but
But the consequences aren't immediate, right? So we trick ourselves. I'll deal with it later. My body can handle it. Until suddenly it can't. Illness hits, mood crashes, energy vanishes, life unravels.
and there are psychological reasons for this neglect too.
Often, yes, it's not just laziness. Mindless eating, erratic sleep. It can reflect feeling unimportant, low self-worth, eating to cope with stress or loneliness, staying up late for a false sense of control or freedom.
It can be a sign of burnout, feeling like there's nothing left to fight for.
Exactly. No reason to care for the vessel, essentially.
And the impact is systemic, you said, not just physical health.
Totally. Poor health breaks down the whole system. Work goals suffer. Finances suffer. Relationships suffer. Lack of sleep tanks focus. Bad food drains energy, clouds thinking, kills confidence. It reduces earning potential, costs opportunities.
And relationships suffer
Because people who don't care for themselves often unconsciously drain others, leading to isolation, more emptiness. Body, mind, life, they're all connected.
So if someone feels totally depleted, no time, no energy, no motivation for self-care, where do they even start? It feels impossible from that place.
The source is really gentle here. It doesn't have to be huge. Start with the absolute smallest, most manageable thing.
Right.
Drink 1 extra glass of water today. Go to bed 15 minutes earlier tonight. Swap 1 unhealthy meal for something lighter. Walk for just 10 minutes.
Use your breath as a chance to restart.
Exactly. Don't wait for motivation to magically appear. Small actions create motivation. They build momentum.
And then build on those small wins.
Yes. Practice seeing yourself succeed. Wake up on time. Choose the healthier food. Put screens away before bed. Take tiny moments just to check in with your body and mind. Adjust your schedule to make some room for it. It's non-negotiable.
And change the mindset about it.
Crucial. Self-care isn't a chore or an indulgence. It's a reward. It's necessary self-respect. It fuels everything else.
And eventually you start to feel the difference.
Subtly at first, then more clearly. Fresher body, clearer mind, stabler mood, more security. That's real proof accumulating. Then you can build. Plan meals, exercise consistently, listen to health podcasts, create a morning routine.
Until health becomes an ally, not an enemy.
Precisely. You won't automatically revert to the old patterns because you've built new ones, and you'll feel proud that your energy today came from starting self-care, even when you felt you had nothing left.
It's never too late to start.
Never, no matter how long you've neglected it. You might feel tired today, but choosing self-care with compassion, not force, that leads to lasting change. Not just physical, but in your whole life, energy, and self-worth.
Wow. We have covered so much ground today. 9 powerful habits, insights from Awaken Your Giant Within. Breaking free from dead cycles, overcoming I can't, managing the social media void, finding purpose beyond addiction, ditching excuses for responsibility, finding hope in despair, handling criticism, and finally prioritizing self-care.
It's a lot, but the core message is consistent, isn't it? Escaping that feeling of being stuck, that shitty life. It's not about massive, sudden leaps. It's about those consistent, conscious choices, rooted in self-honesty, courage, and small daily actions.
Change is possible for anyone, anytime. but it starts inside.
Always. Awakening that giant within.
So, as we close out, here's a final thought for you to ponder. Think about those quiet whispers from your own intuition, that deep knowing inside, telling you what you really need to stop or what you really need to start. If you ignored everything else we talked about, but just listened to and acted on that one whisper today, what kind of ripple effect did that create in your life a year from now?
The power is in that choice. Pick just one idea from today that truly resonated. Just one, and commit right now to taking one tiny, imperfect, courageous step towards it. That's where the change begins, right now.